Hi guys, PD here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to my UEVR guide for dummies. This video is going to be in 3 stages. Stage 1 is the basic method of installing UEVR into games. It's the quickest method and it just works for certain games. There's hardly any messing around. Stage 2 is an intermediate mode. I'll show you some examples of how to tweak UEVR with certain games if they don't look right, the camera's in the wrong place, or you feel like you need a bit of a performance boost. Stage 3 is for the more advanced user who doesn't mind messing around with the UEVR files. I'm going to show you an example of how I tweak the game to add 6-stuff and motion controls. It's always a good idea to use other people's UEVR profiles if you don't want to mess around. If you just want certain games to just work, then head over to the Flat2VR Discord. There's plenty of people making profiles. They're going to help you and they're going to help you get the most out of your games. As you start to tinker with this program, you do start to realize just how powerful this program is. Welcome to stage 1. The first thing you need to do is head over to the Flat Screen to VR Modding Community Discord. Look for the Unreal Engine VR section and you need to find the GitHub section. From there you're going to find a link to download the mod itself. This is going to take you to a GitHub page. You want to make sure you download the latest version of the mod. At the time of this video it was the UEVR Beta 1.0.2. Click on the download and save the file somewhere on your PC. Now you're going to extract all the files into a folder on your PC. You're going to go into the folder and in here you'll find the UEVR Injector.exe. Right click on that folder, go to Properties, go to Compatibility. Make sure the Run this program as an administrator is ticked. Now you're going to run the program and you will get some prompts depending on what's running on your system. As I'm using virtual desktop to play the games, the UEVR mod has detected that I'm using virtual desktop. Now if you're using virtual desktop, it recommends I use OpenXR. If you're going to be using the Oculus Quest 2 or Quest 3 with the link cable, then make sure you select OpenVR. For any other non-Meta headset, OpenXR should be fine. I'm going to go into my games library and I'm going to find a game that I know will just work. 9 times out of 10 this is going to be a 2D platformer or 3D platformer. These are the types of games you play with a gamepad. And these tend to be the types of games that just work out of the box with this mod. I'm going to show you the Steam version of Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy. UEVR will work with Steam, Epic Games, GOG and even Xbox Game Pass. I'm going to go into the options of the game and I'm going to configure some settings based on my PC. My settings have now been configured. I'm going to Control Escape, go back to my desktop and I'm going to bring up the UEVR menu again. From here we're going to find the game in the drop down box, Spyro Windows 64. You might get some prompts to say that VR plugins have been detected. Just go into the folder. All you need to do is find any VR related .dll files. In this video as an example, there are 2 folders that could be a problem. I've already configured one of those folders. I'm now going to configure the second one as well. I found the DLL file. I'm going to rename it with old on the end. That's going to prevent any conflicts with the UEVR mod. Now we're going to go back. We're going to inject UEVR into the game. I have Spyro selected. I'm going to hit the inject button and within seconds we are in VR. I'm going to start a brand new game. You're going to be able to see in this video the look on my face, my reactions to playing some of these games. We are now in the game and it's full VR mode. I can look around me, I can look up and down. I can use my motion controllers to control the dragon. Personally, I prefer to play these games with a gamepad because there's not so much movement in the up and down camera with the left thumbstick with the gamepad. I find when I play these games with the motion controllers, it's very easy to move the camera up and down with the left thumbstick. A lot of these platform type games you will see me play with an Xbox controller. You can also play these games with a mouse and keyboard. So this is the basic method of injecting UEVR into a game. It just works, there's no messing hardly, and within seconds you're in VR, you're inside the world, and you're playing these amazing games.
Dragons? Then you may use this balloon to fly to a new world.
I'm now going to quit the game and we're going to try a more demanding game. This time we're going to play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Again, we're playing the Steam version of the game. The first thing I'm going to do is go into the options menu, and again I'm going to configure the game to my PC specs. I am going to get a performance hit because I'm playing the game, I'm also recording the game, and I've got other software running in the background as well. If you are having some performance issues, there are certain things you can do to help. One, you can turn down your resolution. I've turned down the resolution of my 4K monitor to 1920 by 1080. I'm going to use the same settings in the game. Graphics settings, turn them down to the lowest. Make sure everything's off, like bloom, motion blur, VSync. I don't show it in this video, but there is an option in the menu to hide the game playing on your monitor. That's going to free up resources on your graphics card because you don't have to show the gameplay on your monitor. You're only showing the gameplay in your headset. So that should give you a little bit of a performance boost. To get the best performance out of your graphics card, native stereo mode in the rendering method is the best way. Unfortunately, this game has got a flickering texture in the right eye if you use native stereo. So you're going to have to go into the Unreal rendering method and you're going to have to select synchronize sequential. Also, to help with performance on my 3080 Ti, I go into the advanced options, I go down to the console/CVAR section, and I turn down my screen percentage from around 100 to around 80%. We're going to jump into a brand new game, and again you can play this game with the motion controllers, they just work. Again, I'm going to play the game with the gamepad. In this gameplay session, I'm going to be playing the game in third person mode. It just works. There are some mods that you can use to play this game first person mode. If you know what you're doing, and this is something that we explore in stage 3 of this video, you can actually move the camera around, place it on his head, get rid of his head mesh, and you can play the game in first person mode.
I need 2 workers to climb up and secure the cables.
That's not an easy maneuver.
The gal will double your pay for this shift.
Wow, Cal. What's a score? That couldn't hurt. Huh?
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Get to work.
This way.
I'm right behind you.
Seen a lot of action. Them Clone Wars were fierce. Can't be more than a few years old.
Sorry, Cal.
Don't worry about it.
Couldn't pay me enough to salvage live munitions.
Can't spend money if you can.
I don't think these tools are gonna make it through the shift.
Up here.
You say that every time.
Remember the old days when the guild serviced our gear?
Yeah, those were the days.
Will you look at that? A separatist ship. Haven't seen a Luke or Hulk in ages.
Yeah. Ages.
Breaking her will be big money.
This is Atomic Heart, and I used a profile from the community. It gave me motion controls, it gave me first person mode, and it gave me room scale. I did have some issues in this game. I'm going to let myself explain what I did to solve those issues. Going in. Okay, so I've got that issue already with the fog. So I need to go into the UEVR menu. And we need to turn this option off here, look. Our volumetric cloud. That's now got rid of my fog issue. Now I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but there's still an issue with it. Yeah. So that cloud effect, I can make that disappear by going to my runtime, go to Unreal, and I need to change the view here. Look. So the game's running in native stereo. We can change this to. If you have any problems with games, play around with the setting here.
Please secure your seatbelt. We wish you a very pleasant journey.
So that cloud effect's now disappeared, look. Hello chickens. I need to change my view back to the normal one. Native stereo, there we go. The game looks better and I get more performance as well. This is gravel on Steam. No profile is needed. This game just works with the injector mod. There is an option to change the camera to be in the driving seat. And as you notice in the video, I'm slightly off center of the driving seat. I push down on my thumbsticks to bring up the UEVR menu. And I select these 3 options here: set standing height, set standing origin, also recenter view. I am now back in the driving seat, perfect position to play the game. And as you can see from the video, I can look around just like a normal VR game. Some people have been complaining the game's quite blurry in the headset. So what you need to do, go to the advanced options, right down at the bottom of the section, you need to select tone mapper.sharpen. If you play around with the little slider, you can make the game either sharper or blurrier. These games are all in 3D, so once you've got the game tweaked to how you like it, it just feels like playing a normal VR game. I think also this game does not work with the native stereo. So again, you're going to have to select the synchronize sequential. This is the Steam version of Hogwarts, and I found it a bit blurry until I turned off the NVIDIA DLSS. Like I said, it's all personal preferences. The game was a lot sharper for me with the NVIDIA DLSS off. There's also reports in the Discord that the anti-aliasing mode, TAA, causes blurriness as well. So you need to make sure you turn TAA off. We are now getting into the realms of tinkering with the UEVR mod to get the most out of the games. Like I said, if you don't want to tinker, just grab a community profile from the Discord. Again, to help with the performance, you'll notice I've got my screen percentage on 80%. I'm also going to play around with the sharpness of the graphics. You can physically see in this video the graphics becoming sharper and blurrier.
Glad I caught you before you left for Scotland.
Just barely.
And who is your travelling companion?
The first time you boot up the game, you might not have this problem. Normally the camera's in the perfect position for this cutscene, you can see everything just perfectly. For some reason, tinkering, my camera was out of place. I noticed a lot in this scene, I was either outside the carriage or I was in a seat. So I use EVR to physically move the camera inside the carriage. To move the camera, you need to make sure you can see the menu. Then you hold down the trigger and the grip on your right controller. And then you can use your thumbsticks to move the position of the camera in real time. So I use this method to move the camera back inside the carriage. And from then on, the rest of the game played fine. Again, I played the game in third person mode. Now we're moving on to stage 3 of the UEVR mod, and this is for the more advanced users. This is for those people who like to tinker, mess around. This is Shadow Warrior 3. I've injected the mod. There's no profiles. I'm going to make my own profile. This is a first person game, and by default the camera was in the right spot. So the camera was where my head was supposed to be. The only thing not working was the 6-DoF motion controls. I watched a few videos and tutorials on what to do, and I decided to just jump in and have a go. I was quite surprised what I managed to do. I went into the advanced options, I went to main, I went into common objects, acknowledge pawn, I scroll down and I'm looking for something like skeletal mesh. The mesh is what makes up the hands and the weapons. I'm looking for anything with the word mesh. I find a section called mesh. I untick visible and my hands disappeared. That was telling me I'm in the right area. Now I need to find the mesh for the guns. Normally the guns are going to be in the same section where you found the mesh for your hands. I could not find the guns in that section. However, because of these tutorials, I knew I need to look for a section called children. I found a section called children. I went in there and lo and behold, I found my pistol. I found the pistol and I'm trying to figure out how to attach the pistol to my hand. I then find the skeletal mesh for my gun. In there I find a button called attach right. I selected it and it put the gun in my right hand. So the gun is now moving when I move my hand. I can configure this even more to get the aiming perfect. Again, in the menu I select adjust. That's going to bring up this weird blue box that you put over your weapon to highlight where it's aiming. And then I'm going to select permanent change. And then I also need to select save state, which I didn't do. And that's going to save everything I've done. So the gun is now working with my motion controls, but it's only in 3 DOF. I want 6 DOF. Watching tutorial videos, I know I need to go into input. I need to select this game option here, hit the drop down box, and I need to select right controller. Now I have a 6 DOF motion controlled weapon. Now if you notice when I'm shooting, my crosshairs are still staying on the same plane. Although I can move, the crosshairs are still on a flat plane. I need to be able to move my gun, so I can move the crosshair up and down. Again, just experimenting in the menu. I click the use pawn, control, rotation, and it worked. I now had 6 DOF in my gun. Once you've made a major change, you need to make sure you hit the permanent button and save state. This game was not perfect. If I died, for some reason, I would spawn with the gun facing upwards. And although my motion controllers could point and shoot, the gun was still upright until I restarted the level. When I restarted the level, the gun was in the right position. Also, the sword is just in 3 DOF. Everything wasn't perfect though. Although I was saving the state of the weapons, the position and everything, for some reason, every time I died or I got a new weapon, I had to redo the whole process again. It did not remember my configuration. That's telling me that I'm doing something wrong. And that's telling me I need more help from the community to work out why I'm going wrong. But the principle worked. I even got to a stage in the game where I picked up 2 SMGs, one in the left hand, one in the right hand, and I surprised myself by adding both guns to both my motion controllers, both working in 6 DOF. Again, even though I hit permanent and the save state button, the game just would not remember my configuration. So I need to tinker with this a lot more to find out where I'm going wrong. First person mode, room scale, 6 DOF motion controllers. I had a blast. It felt like I was playing a native VR game. If I can do this with a bit of time and patience, you can as well. I'm going to leave it there. I am going to leave a series of gameplay videos that I made making this guide. I hope you enjoy those videos. I hope you find this useful. If you did find it useful, please leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to hit my little bell. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Zilla, I'm coming, but I am not happy. I told you not to mess with the magic. That is rule number 1, Zilla. Oops. Is that a body part you need? Never met a bigger bunch of bullet magnets. explosive. My favorite combination. Oh man, I really made a mess up here. The only thing you're opening today is a can of whoop ass!
If you're into VR gaming, go and subscribe to Paradise Decay. He's the OGs of VR gaming, okay?